Hey, this is Rick with Social Good Software. In this short demo, I'm going to be sharing with you our ability to help you clean up your constant contact mailing list. I have a couple emails here that we're going to be checking out today, and we're going to be going into constant contact, and we're going to be looking at some bad data. So more than likely, when you're trying to sync some of this data over to AllTrue, some of your constant data might not be normalized. So you might have first and last names in the first name field. You might have uppercase and lowercase letters. You might have, Joe and Jane. You might have titles in the first name. So the data might be inconsistent. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be trying to normalize some of that data in order for us to have some clean data that we can sync over into AllTrue without having us to do a bunch of manual work. So we're going to go ahead and click on a create a widget here. I'm just going to call this one demo. And then we're going to do a constant contact widget. And we're going to create a widget here. And this is going to go ahead and create the widget for us. So we're just going to go ahead and check this widget out. And then we're going to go ahead and authorize this widget to go over into constant contact. So this will just take a second here. There we go. That has been authenticated. So then we're going to go ahead and select our list. And our list is going to be the new members list. This works with any list you select. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to the data cleanup tab here. And we're going to go ahead and check out some of the data that's actually coming in from that list. So this is going to go and fetch the new members list for us. And it's going to go ahead and show us a preview of the list here. You can see here how the data has come over into the preview section. This will only let you preview the first 500 rows. I just happen to have 96, but if you have more, this is where you'll be able to see all of them. Over here on the right hand side, there's a bunch of options you can select on how to clean this data. The first one is check if the first name is found and check if the last name is found. So the way this works is we check if the first name is found in the email address, and if the name is found, all other names are dropped. So for example, in this case, Emily and Robert Rodriguez. So, but it's close enough. So in this case, we would remove this part here and we would keep the first name there. And then the same thing applies for last name. So if the last name is found in the email, then it keeps the specific name that's found. So in this case, it would break it up by checking if that last name is in the email, and if it is, then it's kept in there. So it actually checks every single part. So Emile and Robert and Rodriguez. So that's how you're able to kind of identify what should go in that specific column. So I'll just go ahead and show you a couple of these. The next one that we have here is the remove title. So if you hover this one, this just removes the title from the first and last name. So you can see here how we have Dr. Selena. If we go ahead and enable this option, this will go ahead and remove that doctor from the first name and the last name. And then we also have a couple of operators that split up the specific value. So in this case, it splits up using an and or an sign. So this will go ahead and split up this name into 1 and 2 names, and then one of the names will be kept. So this will be split up into this part and then this part here. So that's what this option does here. This also does the same thing for last name. So we'll apply the same logic here. We'll split it up into 2 different parts. And then we also have for the dash. So if there was a dash in a name, we'll do the same thing. And we also do it with empty spaces. So in this case, there's an empty space here. There's an empty space there. There's an empty space there. And it'll split it amongst that. And it does the same thing with first and last names. And we also give you some enforcement services. Like, for example, you can enforce alphabetical characters. This will remove any special characters from the name itself. And then we also have enforce Pascal case. And what this does is it just takes your name from this very wonky uppercase, lowercase scenario into the first letter uppercase and the second letter uppercase. And then we also have a couple of additional services if you are on our professional plan, which allow you to check if the email address here is deliverable. And if the email address is not deliverable, then it's removed from the list. And then we do the same thing with if the email address is found in all true, then we remove it from the list. So it checks if the email address is found in all true, and then it's removed from the list. So that's essentially how that one works. So let's go ahead and take a look at how some of this stuff works. So we're going to go ahead and check this first one here that splits the first name using the and or the and operator. So if we click save, this is going to go ahead and separate our and operators here. And you can see here how we have Faye now instead of Faye and Jane. And then same thing over here with email. Now we have one instead of the other two. And then if we go here, we can select the other thing for the last name, and this will do the same thing here. We'll go ahead and keep the last part of the last name. Well, in this case, it's going to be this part here. So we're going to go ahead and click Save Settings, and you'll see this work. So I went ahead and normalized some of our last names. We still have some wonky ones like this one's here where there is a space between them. So let's move on to the next section here. For the dashes, I don't see any of my data having dashes, but this pretty much works the same as the and operator there. And then we have this checking for empty spaces. So the way this would work is it will go ahead and see if there's any empty spaces like there is right here. Then it goes ahead and keeps the appropriate part for the name. So we're going to go ahead and click save. Let's remember this email here, for example, and click save. And as you can see here, went ahead and kept the last name there. You can always turn these on or off. So if you do not want to use them, just turn them off. Click Save Settings. And then this will go ahead and give you a list that is back to where it was originally. So this isn't a hard operation. You can kind of turn these on or off as you need them. And if we keep going down this list, the one we want to test out next is going to be our uppercase, lowercase. So I think we have an example here for the uppercase and lowercase. Here's one, Ada and Murphy. And it's going to go ahead and convert it into all lowercase with the first and second letter uppercase. So you can see here, I went ahead and converted from all uppercase to all lowercase with the first letter being uppercase. And then finally, we have these two options where we can actually check if these email addresses are deliverable. And if they're not, then they are automatically removed from the list. So you do have to be on a professional plan to access these two features, which is just simply checking if this email either exists with all true or is currently available for deliverability. There is a cost to using these two options, so please use them carefully because there is a cost for us every time we check if that data is available or not. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Save Settings here, and this will take us back to our original data. And then what we're going to do here now is we're going to go ahead and just enable the ones that I care about. So I'm just going to go ahead and enable all of these. And this should take us to pretty good clean data. And we click Save Settings. And it will give us a second for it to go ahead and clean that data up for us. And then now everything here looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy so far with what we have. So what I can do now is I can do some spot checks and see if there's anything we need to fix. But if everything looks good, you can go ahead and download this as a CSV or as an XLS format. So I'm just going to download it as a spreadsheet here for me to show you. It actually does clean the data. And then here's the spreadsheet. And you can see here all my data is now clean. And if there is any inconsistencies, I can go ahead and correct those. So it looks like this one doesn't have a last name. So we can check it out and figure out why. So we can go here. And it looks like in this case, one of the rules that we have is currently removing the name from the first name section. So in my case, it's a pretty simple fix. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix it manually. And at this point, I'm pretty happy with this list. Now you can take this list and re-import it back into Constant Contact. And you will have an entire list of contacts that has all the information that you need that's already all normalized for you. Pretty much all there is to cleaning up the data using the widget tool that allows you to be able to use explicit or implicit searches. And then at the end of the day, you have control over what each of these options does. So you can quickly turn on or off different parts depending on your data and what is valuable for you and what is important for the organization. You can go here and turn on or off different parts. You can always revert back, and this will always give you a clean list based on the rules you assign it. And that's going to go ahead and do it here for me. Once again, this is Rick from Social Good Software. Hopefully you found this video helpful. We're always looking to improve and make things better. If something was not clearly explained in this video, or maybe you just are still a little bit confused and have some additional questions that we didn't talk about in the video, don't worry, we're here to help. Please go over to Social Good Software /feedback. You're able to provide us feedback on this training. You're able to provide us feedback on the software. We're always looking to improve. So if you have any suggestions, please reach out to us. Again, socialgoodsoftware.com /feedback. You'll be able to go ahead and share your thoughts with us, and we're always happy to help.